What's going on, guys? So the Everdark Sovereign Augur fight has come out. Now, I know there's a lot of guides out there already on the Everdark Sovereign Augur, but this one I want to do a little bit differently. So in my other boss guides, I give you a move-by-move tutorial on how to basically dodge every one of their attacks. So I'm going to do the same thing with the Augur fight. Some of the attacks can be kind of tricky to try to dodge. At the very end of the video, I'll go ahead and give my thoughts. Spoiler alert, I did not like this boss at all. But let's go ahead and jump into the guide and break down his attacks. I ended up doing this solo run on both a Wilder and an Iron Eye. You might notice for both runs, I'm kind of underleveled. I was experimenting, trying to see if I could get some seals for healing abilities, because you'll learn in this fight that you can actually regenerate FP very easily. But I didn't want to use like Recluse because I liked Wilder's mobility, especially for this fight. You're going to see that having that kind of mobility is really helpful with this certain attack. Same thing with Iron Eye. His little kind of dash forward was kind of helpful. Okay, so at the very beginning of the fight, just like every Everdark Sovereign fight, he's going to start off in phase 2, you could say. I haven't seen him do the Chinese lantern teardrop explosion that he normally does in phase 2 in the regular fight, but kind of just like Sentient Pest, you want to completely take out his health bar. So when he dies, he's going to drop a legendary power-up every time. You're going to immediately pick up a legendary weapon for yourself. You notice this is going to have Storm Ruler, and for those of you who have played Dark Souls 3, this is of course a reference to the Storm Ruler weapon that you use against Yoram, the giant, one of the Lords of Cinder, and it functions basically the same way here. So to trigger this, if you hold R2, this is going to charge it up. If you quickly click R1 before it's fully charged, you'll do this little wave attack, which does minimal amount of damage. You can kind of combo this and shoot multiple at a time. This move is going to be really useful as we talk about one of his abilities, which we'll get to in a second. However, if you wait until it's fully charged, there's going to be a sound and visual indication of this. Just like Dark Souls 3, you will essentially throw this giant shockwave forward, which will do significantly more damage. So you're mainly going to want to use the heavy attack here because it also restores that FP like we talked about. So if you have some sort of incantation that can heal you, you can utilize the charge of the sword to get that FP back and then have a constant source of healing throughout the fight. Now, it does take a long time to get this sword charged up. So a really important thing to note is that you can store this charge. This will be indicated by this blue fire around your character. So in brief moments of calm, you can charge up the sword, then dodge an attack, and then immediately fire this as you enter the stance again. Another thing to add for this weapon art is that the range of both the standard and the charge attack actually is pretty far. So very similar to phase 2, he's going to start spinning up. When he does this, he will then immediately spin forward. My first roll was obviously too early, but I just left myself enough time for the second roll there. So this one, in my opinion, one of the most annoying attacks I've ever seen, but he will essentially throw these blue bubbles forward. He'll do this several times in a combo. They're going to land on the ground, scatter shot all around you. I find this attack is very, very tricky to dodge because it just spreads out around the area. It's hard to kind of outrun it. It's hard to roll out of the way. I tend to look at the ground to see where the bubbles are going. And then right when they land, if you wait a half second and then dodge out of the way, you're going to be in a lot better shape than if you just spam dodge. All right, so this one is going to be an eye beam. Now, I don't believe the beam itself will do damage, but what it will do is create this kind of glowing explosive area on the ground. So with this, if you wait like a second and a half and then dodge, you should be fine here. So again, just like in phase 2, he's going to sometimes look like he's falling to the ground. This is going to be the sleep buildup that he's going to do. So again, this is where having resistance is going to be good. But if you charge up your Storm Ruler during this time, which you should be, you can a lot of the time stun him out of this, like I do so here. So once you take out a big chunk of his health, you're going to notice these purple orbs that appear around Augur. These will periodically start glowing and then kind of do this weird screech right before they fire in a straight line to you. If you're in the process of doing a standard or heavy attack, it actually blocks this beam blast, so keep that in mind. They will stay there the rest of the fight if you don't do anything about them. He can actually regenerate them as well. This is where we're going to use the basic attack. So you can actually target them individually, but if you knock out these purple orbs, it actually stuns him. This is the best time to use that standard attack, that slice, and then you'll just get a free stun. So this one's a pretty nasty one. Essentially, he will create this giant tidal wave that's going to head towards you. It has a massive AoE, so my best advice is to start sprinting in a certain direction just to get around it, which is exactly why I chose to play Walder or Iron Eye. I think Walder is the better choice, especially if you can get 2 grapple activations for him. But you definitely do not want to get caught into this giant bubble. It does an extreme amount of damage. If you find yourself stuck in the bubble, this is a good time to save your ult so that you have the iframes. But that's actually going to do it. That is all his attacks. This is by far, in my opinion, the worst fight in the game. I know it's a gimmick fight and they provide you that weapon. I don't think it makes the fight any better. I like that they experimented, but this is just the worst fight. Because at least with the Sentient Pest, you were able to kind of still do damage as a melee character. This forces you to have this ranged gimmick weapon. But that's it for this video. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any other guides. And as always, have a good one.